Here's what you'll do in this lesson and what you'll be able to do after this lesson. You will be able to calculate a fraction of a given quantity. You will be able to convert between mixed fractions and improper fractions. You will be able to perform addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division between fractions. And you will be able to simplify a fraction to its lowest terms. Let us first start off with what a fraction is. What is a fraction? A fraction is a part of one whole. What exactly does this mean? If you have one whole pizza and you cut it into two parts and you want to choose just one part from that, then a fraction is used to represent that one part. And the way we would express this is 1 because you want one part divided by 2 because there are a total of two parts in that one whole pizza. And the number at the top is known as the numerator and the number at the bottom is known as the denominator. And just to make this example of the pizza general, the numerator is the chosen parts and the denominator is the total parts. When you're told to find a fraction of a quantity, what exactly are you supposed to do? You are supposed to take the quantity and multiply by the numerator and divide it by the denominator. Let us see this with an example. So if you're told to find 1/5 of 35, you're finding a fraction of a quantity. The way we do that is we take the quantity, multiply it by the numerator, which is 1 in this case, and then divide that. So we divide 35 by the denominator, which is 5. And that will give us the answer of 7. Therefore, 1/5 of 35 is equal to 7. And what this means visually is that you have a pizza which is cut into 5 pieces and you have chosen one of those pieces. And if the entire pizza represents 35, then one of those pieces will just represent 7. Let's do one more example. Find 2/7 of 28. And so we take the quantity, multiply it by the numerator, get 56, and then we divide it by the denominator, which will give us 8. Therefore, 2/7 of 28 is equal to 8. And with that same example of a pizza, if the pizza was cut into 7 pieces, then 2 of those pieces would represent 8 if the entire pizza represents 28. We'll now talk about the types of fractions and the conversion between them as well. Firstly, we have the proper fraction. A proper fraction is such that the numerator is smaller than the denominator. So a few examples of this is just 3/5 or 1/7 or 3/17. All of these are proper fractions. And what proper fractions mean is that you have one entire thing. Just one item, and you have a part of that one item. When you look at improper fractions, these are fractions where the numerator is larger than the denominator. For example, 5/3 or 7/4 or 17/13. Numerator is larger than the denominator, and visually what this means is that you have more than one item to represent this fraction. So for example, for this one, you will have one pizza that is cut into 3 and you have all those pieces, and you also have another pizza that is cut into 3 and you have 2 of those pieces. So you have 5 pieces chosen over 3, which is the total number of pieces in one pizza. A mixed fraction is the last type of a fraction, and that can only come from improper fractions. And what this does is it takes your improper fraction and divides it in this format. So it is where you have a whole number plus a proper fraction. So for the example of 5/3, which is the way we know how to write fractions up to now, if visually you have one pizza and another pizza which is 2 pieces when it's cut out of 3, then the way your mixed number will look like is one whole pizza plus 2/3 of that pizza, which you write it as 1/2/3. So this represents the whole part and this represents the fractional part. That is what a mixed fraction is. Now, as for the conversion, how do you go from improper to a mixed fraction? Remember, the improper fraction is written as your numerator over your denominator. And the way you would convert it into mixed is just divide the numerator by the denominator. So, for example, when you divide 5 by 3, you're going to get 1 remainder 2. And the way you represent this in your mixed terms is you will take that 1, which is the whole part, and then that remainder, which is 2, you will put it as a part of the denominator, meaning 2/3. That's how you convert from an improper to a mixed fraction. When you're going the other way around, so mixed to improper, and remember you have it in this format. So you have your whole number, and then you have your numerator over denominator. What you will do to convert it into improper now is you will take your whole number multiplied by your denominator. Then the answer you get from that you will add with the numerator. And that entire thing we will divide it by the denominator. So if you're converting 1/2/3 back into an improper fraction, let's use this method to get back our 5/3. So we will take our whole part of the number, so 1, multiplied by our denominator, which is 3. Then we will add our numerator to that, which is 2. And that entire thing we will divide by the denominator, which is 3. This will then give us 1 times 3, which is 3, plus 2, which is 5, divided by 3. So 5/3, which is the improper version of the mixed fraction, that is 1/2/3. Next up, we will look at the 4 rules for fractions, which will tell us how to add, subtract, multiply, and divide those fractions. The first operation is simplifying fractions. And the rule to simplify is that you will divide the numerator and the denominator by the highest common factor, which is also abbreviated to HCF. And if you do not know how to do that, take a look at the video in the info card in the top right. Let's take an example of this. Suppose you have the fraction 4/22. What you will do is take the HCF of 4 and 22, and that is just 2 is HCF of 4 and 22, and we'll divide both the numerator and the denominator by that number 2. So this will just become 4 divided by 2 over 22 divided by 2, which will give us 2/11. And therefore the simplified version of 4/22 is the same as 2/11. Let me give you an example of that visually. So suppose you have 2 pizzas. One of them is cut into only 2 pieces. The other one is cut into 4 pieces. And you take 1 out of the 2 pieces in pizza 1, and you take 2 out of the 4 pieces in pizza 2. What is the fraction associated with each of these? The one for pizza 1 is going to be 1/2, so chosen divided by the total. And the one for pizza 2 will be 2/4, chosen divided by the total. Chosen divided by the total. But you're going to get the same amount of pizza in either example. Therefore, 1/2 is the same as 2/4, just that the 1/2 is the simplified version of it. The next operation we'll look at is adding and subtracting fractions. And the rule for this is that you must first find a common denominator. And this comes from your LCM, your lowest common multiple. Again, if you do not know how to find this or don't know what it is, check the info card in the top right. Let's take an example of 1 over 3 plus 1 over 2. The way we'll first do that is to find the LCM of the two denominators. And the LCM of 3 and 2 is 6. And then we see how do we get from 3 to 6. We will have to multiply it by 2. So we are basically doing the opposite of what we did for simplifying. We are unsimplifying that fraction first. So 1 over 3, which is the same as 2 over 6, which gives us a denominator of 6. And 1 over 2 is just the same as 3 over 6, which again gives us a denominator of 6. Now what we can do is just add them up together, 2 over 6 plus 3 over 6. And the way you add this is you leave the denominator the same and you just add the numerators, which is 2 plus 3, which will just give you 5 over 6. And the reason for doing that, again, let's go to the example of the pizza. And suppose we want to add up 1 over 2, which is this fraction right here, with 1 over 4, which is this fraction right here. In order to add them up, we need to first represent this first pizza in terms of 4 pieces as well. Because now you have the same size of pieces, which is when you can now add them up. So that a half, you will make it 2 over 4, because that's the same thing. Now you have the same number of pieces, 4, denominator is the same. And then you can add them up to get 3 over 4, because you have 3 pieces out of the 4 total pieces in one pizza. Next up, we're going to look at multiplying fractions. And for this, it's quite simple. You just multiply the numerators together and you multiply the denominators together. So an example of this is just 3 over 4 multiplied by 2 over 3. And what we will do here is just multiply the numerators, which will give us 6, and multiply the denominators, which will give us 12. And then obviously this can be simplified. The HCF here, the highest common factor, is just 6. Therefore, this will just become 6 divided by 6, which is 1, divided by 12 divided by 6, which is 2. And so 3 over 4 times 2 over 3 is just 1 over 2, or a half. Finally, when we are looking at dividing fractions, the way we'll do it is by converting it into a multiplication. So the rule is to multiply by the reciprocal of the second fraction. Again, if you don't know what reciprocal means, take a look at the video on the top right in the info card. An example of this is 3 over 8 divided by 3 over 4. The way we do this is we first start off by reciprocating this and changing this into a multiplication sign, which then would become 3 over 8 times 4 over 3. And that would then just become 3 times 4, which is 12, and 8 times 3, which is 24. And again, this is just converted into 1 over 2 after simplification, because the highest common factor here is 12, and 12 divided by 12 is 1, and 24 divided by 12 is 2.